Okay, so I'm gonna start it. And then you can take over. So I was in the middle of the updating about what happened in like the past 2 weeks. So as you know, I'm gonna share my screen with you. You do have all this one. So this is the original budget we submitted. Briefly, the total amount is 240,390. So we request about what 78,000, and actually Meadow Foundation decided to give us 77,000, which is not bad. The problem is we need to come up about what 40,000 from our ends. I'm talking about 3 universities. So we had a meeting with our ends and we tried to come up with a 40,000, but as you know, it's kind of hard to do it 40,000. So our question is for UTRGV and Kingsville, again, Robert, I understand that. So, and Jemiang, you already explained, there's no guarantee to get the money. There's no match of funds, but there is another way to help this research. For example, if you look at the top, I have not touched those like $12,000, $4,000 per each institution. So $1,000 per one research assistant. Not a big money, but still good money. So you will recruit 4 research assistants for fall. So instead of finding money, you can probably get some help, like student workers or research assistants, so we can save the money from there, from your end. So our question is, I know you're not going to have a right answer right now, but is it possible for you to come up with like some kind of strategy or how much money you can probably get from your end, like a dean's office, provost, grant, or like a research assistance from your end? Do you guys have any idea about questions?
We've met at Kingsville, the 3 of us together and individually. I've met with our VP from the grants office and whatnot. And the feedback that we have gotten, we've had some discussion regarding like the in-kind stuff, like, you already have a graduate assistant in the department, we could say in-kind, that's what the university is providing. The major issue and the major ruffling of feathers we're getting from our administration is that there's no kind of formal agreement between the universities. So they, at this point, will not give us a single dime and will not do any kind of thing for us unless there's some kind of agreement formally between our offices, administration offices. So I know our VP has contacted, I think it's VJ in your guys' office, and there's been some communication there. But from what our VP has been telling us is that VJ has said to him that you guys haven't been in much contact with him, and so he wasn't sure what was even going on or whatnot. So I think if administration-wise, I think we need to get everyone together in the same room, explain everything that's going on, get everyone out caught up to speed, and that might help maybe open up some pocketbooks, so to speak.
I see. So it sounds like there is a little power gain among those administrators. So as you know, 77,000 is not even big money. So in terms of university-wise, it's not a big money, but I understand that.
Yeah, and our VP flat out told us, he goes, yeah, we are going to do absolutely nothing to help you unless there's some kind of formal agreement in place, whether it's a subcontract from you guys or some other kind of agreement worked out. He said, now, if that does get worked out, like I was saying with the in-kind support, we have, like I have graduate assistants in the department. Our department can give us 2 or something like that, which would cover that cost of those 2 individuals. There's some other consumable items that our department buys that could be in-kind supplied. So that's kind of how the grounds we'd be able to make up our end. But I don't see anyone actually giving us money and say, spend whatever you want with it.
Gotcha. What about Dr. Yu, UTRGV?
So far, with the discussion with Dean's office, I got a positive comment. So, well, I think I can get the research assistant from the college. I can get a support from them, but I'm not sure how many the research assistant I can get.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I think Sujin, you're the same like position like Robert. So nobody can guarantee and nobody gonna give you like what $10,000 or $5,000, but you may be able to get some of the supplies and stuff from your end, right? Like a
Yeah.
$2,000 equipment or blood
Yes.
strip, something like that. Okay. All right. Shannon.
Yeah.
Okay, now your turn.
I don't know when, Robert, when you said that the VPs, that VJ we hadn't told him very much. I don't know.
Friday is when they had their phone, or it was either Thursday afternoon or Friday morning, they had their phone conversation. And then our VP called me and I talked to him Monday morning, this past week. So as of Thursday night, Friday morning, VJ told our VP that there hasn't been much communication between you two guys. But again, this is all he said, she said, word of mouth stuff. I have no idea what it's actually.
Gotcha.
Right. Okay. So where we're at with the grant contract, and Sacco, I just sent you this email. So the contract actually has to be signed by administrators at our school, not any of us. So it's being forwarded for review, and it's currently with our with VJ and our provost. And that $40,000, when we talked to Meadows, it was okay that we were just looking for this money, right? And there were avenues we were going to take to get it. Our university,
that was a really important point from our VP. He goes, did you guys commit to something that we might not be able to meet a promise on? Because if we can't meet that, that might ruin the relationship with Meadows Foundation, not just for you guys, but for all three universities involved. And I don't know about you guys, but our university has a history of working with Meadows, not at our department, but in other departments. And they were very scared that that relationship might get hurt if we promise something that we're not going to be able to deliver on.
okay.
Robert, let's put this way. We never committed to put $40,000 from our ends. Okay, so I understand what your concern and what your VP concerns, but no, we discussed with the Meadow, and they need to know what are the possible funding we can come up with. So we told them that's our plan. So that's why. So you guys never agreed to pay 1,000, 10,000 from our end. So
okay, I think that was some of the lost in communication stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sacco, it sounds like we need to get a meeting with both the VPs because the timeline should be different. Like VJ had information by that point, so we might need to talk with everybody.
Well, not only VJ and the Kingsville, but about the UTRGV. The problem is, it sounds like VP of the Kingsville is not happy with our VJ, because VJ called and hey, we got the money and you guys. So he's not happy with the situation. So let's let them fight each other for a while. They'll probably need to set the meeting, probably sometime soon. So we can just pedal everybody.
Have you heard from your
I have two small questions. The first one is that my understanding is that my meeting with our VP on research is that they need a subcontract from the university before they are willing to commit any money for this particular research project.
Gotcha.
So my question is how likely it is that we will get a subcontract. The next question is, this $77,000 is only part of the first year budget.
Right.
How confident are we in ensuring the supply of the money for the next 2 years? What happens if our research project cannot really accomplish for 3 years? We can only do some of the work during the first year. Then we have to stop because of the lack of funding. Have we thought about this possibility? I mean, how confident are we in ensuring the money for the next 2 years? I'm sorry, someone is knocking the door.
It's okay. Let's wait a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I was about to answer your question. Okay. Let's save it and let's move to number 2. I understand IBC, which is an institutional biosafety, whatever certificate or level. It has been certified. I think Kingsville has been certified when we visit your lab, Robert. So you have no problem with the IBC.
Yep, we're good.
Okay. What about the UTRGV?
Okay, so I'm back there.
Sujin?
Oh, Sujin, you're muted.
Join the meeting, start host.
Honestly, I don't have any idea about it. I will double check with the school.
Okay. So do you guys have a it's an institutional biosafety committee? Do you have did you establish the IBC committee in your school?
Let me,
Okay. Once you have that,
I think I,
recording was not converted.
Again, I don't have any idea. So
Okay.
I will check today. I'm so sorry about it.
Okay. You
Yeah.
can check it out the website
So,
and find
website.
out.
Mhm.
Yeah, find out, because we just established the IBC like 2 years ago, but it's not kind of a functional. Okay, so let's move in number third. Shannon.
And for this study, it really shouldn't have much issue with IBC because it's just finger stick.
Right.
So as long as you have written in place of how you're going to dispose of it, and you have a biosafety hazard boxes and whatnot, this shouldn't have any red flags for the IBC.
The problem with the same thing, Dr. Whitney from the A&M system office, he persists that say that we have to have a IBC like level 2 certified, even finger prick. He claimed that we have to have it, so we need to work on it. So
Yes.
there's a chance.
There's
yeah.
no budging with him.
Okay, yeah. All right, Sharon, you can jump anytime and can stop me, all right?
Okay.
Our school actually that we have a kind of the committee, so I can contact and then double check everything will be okay for our project.
Right. You should submit your own proposal, but you can contact the chair of the IBC and you can show them what we're gonna do it. Basically, as Robert says, fingerprint, it shouldn't be any problem if you have a IBC established. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Shannon, go ahead.
Go ahead, Robert.
I was going to say part of the IRB and the IBC is a lot of times, at least at our university, we require a letter of support from the other institutions that are going to be on it. So just something to keep on our radars for all three places that we're probably going to have to provide a letter of support from the individual researchers to those applications.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that was something else I want to talk about. Vijay said he believes that it depends on how Tamuk and UTRGV are going to do this, but if we get the IRB approval, our institution, then we can send it to your IRB boards and they can look it over and then maybe just give the approval that it could also happen on your campus, but we can also include a letter of support for sure.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
After the meeting,
by the way, what is IBC? I don't know that term,
Institutional Biosafety Committee.
We have.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a blood virus. It's different from the ILB. So usually ILB requires additional approval from the IBC if you deal with the blood and kind of a thing. That's in our case.
X-ray or anything else that can transmit.
Yeah.
All right, Shannon, can you go over number 3?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to make sure everybody had these. The wording was changed a little bit in the contract that I got. I think they just made it more streamlined. And also, Jiming, this goes back to the question that you had. So we've got these goals. I think the bottom 3 are the goals that were set up for our 3-year project. And of course, Meadows is they only give 1 year of funding at a time anyways. So we can address what we've done and to move towards those last 3 goals. But otherwise, I think that goal A and B, or sorry, goal 1 and goal 2, those fit in with what we were planning on doing anyways, getting our baseline sample and then training the student research assistants. Goal 3 is to secure additional funding. So in number 7 on the agenda, I had plans that we're going to submit grant proposals to get additional funding to get money for years 2 and 3. Hopefully we can get a larger grant, but if we have to keep getting kind of individual grants for each year to get the project finished, that's what we'll end up doing. We are still trying to work with this Hanover company to help us with our project to get it funded. The issue with them is that we are so interdisciplinary that it's not quite sure where the best home would be for this project. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But yes, we do. So when I talked to Meadows, when they called, he said that their name goes further than their dollar, and we should use that we've got funding from them to reach out to other organizations that would know about Meadows, so in Texas, to continue getting funding for the next couple of years of our project. They were really excited about the work that we're doing. They think it's really important to focus on Mexican-American students. So it was promising in thinking about how we'd be able to get future funding.
All right, I can jump in it. May I?
I have a quick question. Once again, I'm sorry I was interrupted by one of my colleagues. My question is that what happens? Are we going to be somewhat penalized if we have to stop our research project, let's say a year after?
Jamie, that was your question.
Funding.
Yeah, that was your question. So I was about to answer your question. So
okay.
If you look at our budget, you understand that year one actually starts from the fall to spring semester. So actually our major data collection will be happen for the first year, because wave one is the first month and wave two is the January, wave three is like April, May. So basically our actual research can be easily become like a multi-million dollar research if we consider putting our money for the teaching release, all kind of stuff. But as we, understand that this is just, $77,000 from the medal is just a stepping stone toward a larger grant. So to accomplish our goal, I have a plan once. If you look at that original budget is based on our just summer salary, not even salary, summer just stipend, 5,000 for us, 3,000. Look at the numbers. So that's come up with 24 to 40,000. That's a year 1 to 3. But actually, practically, year 2 and 3 is just an analysis of data and publication and come up with the workshop. Those are all extras. So I have a proposed new budget based on our new funding, because we have only 77,000. If you have a little extra money or in-kind support, let's say we have about 90,000. So I come up with a new plan. It's possible. So we'll be able to accomplish data collection by next year with only 1 year budget. That's a bottom line. How can we do it? We have to sacrifice our own ends. So this is a proposed it. We never agreed it. I just drafted for everybody, because we cannot touch the money from the student assistance, right? Like $12,000, there's a student assistance money, 4,000 for each. I haven't touched it. So what I touched is it reduced some more money for all our collaborator, from 5,000, 2,000 to us, 3 PIs, and 3,000 to 1,000. So you will get only $1,000 for the summer. Sorry. So this is my plan. So we saved it several, $24,000 for personnel. Also, we were planning to hire program coordinator from our end, so one person can organize all 3 sites and give out the call back and forth. $10,000 1 year salary, 5,000 second salary, but I just cut down to 5,000. I think I can make it, right? So that's a huge savings. And also I cut down like a little bit of supplies. If you look at the activity monitor, I'll explain, it's not a perfect one, but if you look at that original budget for the activity monitor, one physical activity monitor costs about $25. So I can share another budget. Here we go. So this is our number based on our proposal. This is wave 1. That's the number of participants we're going to recruit. 100 from A&M, 100 from Kingsville, 150 from UTLDB, total 350. So if you just do math, like $25, that's an activity monitor, cheap one, multiply 350, that's a 8,750. But if you do remember that, I put 10,250. Why? Because the physical activity monitor will be broken, they misplaced, lost. So initially, I was getting not 350, but 410 physical activity monitors. So each institution can have a 20 extras. But we can cut down to 9,000. Why? Because because we have done several pilot data, we have about 20, 25 extra monitors. So we can save from here. So I can get 360. So each institution maybe get 10 extra instead of 20. That's how I can save the money. So if you look at that, I saved that several from here, analyze the test strip, all kind of a thing, monitors, also gift card, and then, participant over, I cut a little bit, 12,000 to 10,000. So I think we'll be able to make it with $77,000 plus a little bit of a help from each institution. So Jimmy Young, to answer your question, yes, it's possible. And nobody can guarantee for additional money, but this is a good start point. So we'll keep working toward to other, private, even federal grants. So I think we'll have a good chance to get it. Did I answer your question?
Got it. Got it.
All right. Thank you.
You ran this by Meadows. Question is because you submitted a Meadows saying this is what we plan to do and this is what we need to do it. And now they said, okay, that sounds good. Here's your money. And now you've gone back and say, all right, we're not going to do what we said we're going to do. We're cutting it back. We're scaling it back. Are they going to have an issue with that? Because they thought they were funding this size project, but they're actually only going to get this size project.
No, Robert, we did not cut down our goal or anything. We just reduced our budget. So I can make a justification. And trust me, Meadow Foundation, private foundation, they did not dig in detail about all detail. For the federal money, you have to report it all the budget sections and they can look at it, all kind of a thing. To be honest with you, even Meadow, we submit this one, but they don't need this kind of details. They need a one line for the personnel, like maybe 2 lines for the supply, something like that. So it's totally different from federal or other foundation.
So this is one of the major pushback we got from our VP, who has history of working with Meadows, and saying, if you're going to change your project at all from what you originally submitted to Meadows, and you're going to give them back your outcome of B, but they were thinking you were going to give them A, that might be very problematic for them. Yes, you're still using the same amount of money, but if you're going to say you're going to do one thing and then do a whole new thing, and then they're going to be like, why'd you do this? Great, project's done in year 1. They're not going to want to fund it another year or two because of the fact that you've completely changed it. This is just the stuff he's been coming back to me with. Again, he's worked with the Meadows Foundation, so I think he would have some information to stand on. But his concern was, does the Meadows Foundation, because I mentioned him, well, we can always scale the project back. He goes, you got to be careful with that, because if you said you're going to do one thing with project A and you give them project B, they are not going to be happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So he did say, he was very clear. The guy from Meadows, his name is
Charles.
Sorry, last name is Glover. He said if we make any changes to our goals, it has to go for approval from the Meadows board. So what we're talking about here is no changes to our goals. We haven't communicated with Meadows that the only thing that we're talking about changing here is the university support, that 40,000. We haven't communicated that with them. We also haven't signed any documents yet. This is all still getting routed. And it sounds like our university isn't going to sign documents until we have some of that university support money at least earmarked. I'm trying to get confirmation about what that means.
Gotcha.
But no, we are not changing anything from what we gave to Meadows. We're still doing the project that we said we were going.
That's the point. So Robert, I understand your concern. You're right, absolutely, 100%. But we're not gonna change any of our target goals. We're not gonna scale down our project. We're gonna start with the same number of subjects, 350, but we can cut the budget from here, there. Especially, we're gonna cut significant amount of budget from our summer salary. So I'm pretty sure, confident we can, make a good justification for the budget adjustments in case we're not gonna get the 40,000 from our ends.
Right. Yeah, that's good information that we're gonna have to get to our VP, because that's the kind of stuff that if he doesn't have those answers.
You know what, Robert? I wouldn't worry about your VP at this moment, because if you bring up this one, he's gonna come in and say that this is another issue. So there are a lot of concerns.
Here's the problem, Sacco. He's also in charge of our IRB and stuff. So if I start submitting to the IRB without getting his any kind of approval, or he's okay with the project, it's going to cause a lot of red flags, and it's going to steamroll this thing down. So
Gotcha.
I can't keep him out of the loop, or it's going to cause a lot of problems.
Right. So my point is not keeping out of the loop, but you don't have to deliver this all kind of information to him at this moment, because we need to get all the information together. Then you can just present him, persuade him. All right. Number 4, student research assistant, 4 for each site. Trust me. So this is not a whole semester wide project, because you're gonna focus on 3 weeks at the beginning of the semester. But those 3 weeks, you'll be super busy, trust me, because especially for the pandemic, you may be able to get the 2 students at a time. That means you can probably get 8 students per one day, 8 times 5, 40. For the Sujin, you have to work from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, whole 3.5 weeks to get the 150 students data. You know what I'm saying? So
Excited.
you have to have at least 4 research assistants and yourself, and you have a collaborator. So 4 hours, 4 hour like a site, Shannon and Vicky, and we had another assistant. They take a ton and keep coming. And then we do have at least 2 research assistants present at the site. So 4 research assistants is not a lot of help. So just let you know that. So you can discuss with the student. It's not a 20 hours per week, whole semester, like a research assistant. It's like a 1 month kind of a contract. So you can give out the $1,000 or $500 per each semester if you like to. So training in July, basically survey, you probably need to train them for the survey. So there's a how, Shannon and Vicky gonna help you out so they can make a training protocol. But for the kinesiology is the big thing because it takes a lot of effort, so rehearsal. So you guys look at the proposal. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps of a physical fitness test. So I'm gonna provide all the protocols. Then Robert and Sujin, if you have any questions, we can discuss about it. So I recommend you hire kinesiology major students for the physical fitness test. It'll be easy for you because they already have some knowledge about the physical fitness tests. Okay, and training protocol. Yes, go ahead.
Do you think it will be okay for each of you to get 4 research assistants? Do you have a lot of people that want to do stuff?
What do you mean, Shannon? Can you say it one more time?
Do you think no, this is for Robert and Sujin. Do you think you will have no problem getting the 4 research assistants?
We just spoke about it, but I will try to get them many.
Okay.
But you're in Korea, you're in South Korea. Are you going to be back in July?
Yeah.
Okay.
You will.
Sujin, how many
August.
How many undergraduate do you have? Like more than 1,000?
Yeah, like 1,500.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have any problem to hire 4 undergrad research assistants. Students are looking for the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't have any problems if you just, put out the flyers. But you need to have good students will be available during the day because a lot of students got a part-time job, cannot come in this time, we cannot hire them. So somebody available throughout the day. That's the key point. Okay. Training protocol, we talked about it, pursuing and distribution of a plan of supply. So this is again money fight because even though it's not a big money, but each university that is grant office, they are looking for their portion of the money because of numbers. So instead of easiest way for us to do this one, we can purchase it here, then send out through the mail. That's easy. But I think Kingsville, the grant office wants to talk to our Patricia office, and you guys had a discussion before you submitted this one because they need some numbers, dollar numbers in their hands. So I don't mind, you guys work together and you can buy supply from there, make a contract so you can split in the money into like 3 portions. I don't mind because we're not gonna take the money out, but let them work out for this part. We don't have to worry about it. So our goal is to get a 360 physical fitness monitor, same brand, same model, periods. If they want to buy from their ends, that's fine. So let them discuss about it. So if they like to it, for example, Kingsville wants to get the money, dollar amount in their notebook, that's fine. So they can take some of the money and they can buy physical fitness monitor from there. We just want to make sure that we got the 360 physical active monitor with the same brand, same model. That's it.
So cool. I think it's not just that, but also because each university needs to basically summarize their funding total amount of money as their their accomplishment each year. So having a subcontract from the perspective of the budget office, it's very important to them, you know. Not they can, you know, at the end of the year, they can just summarize all the total amount of the funding they can.
Right.
So for that purpose, I think it's understandable that they need some kind of a subcontract. Instead of asking you to purchase all the item and ship the item to us, they want the money directly transferred to the university. The university will purchase the supplies and things like that.
Right. So Shannon, we don't have any problem with that, right? Because our resume says $77,000 and that's it. So whether we can split the money from each university and buy it, or I can buy it, everything, not a big deal. Okay, I understand that. Okay. Number 6, subject recruitment strategies.
Just to elaborate on that real quick, because that, like I said, that's one of the sticking points for our VP. I think the current understanding is that the communication between our VP and your VP is that the ball's currently in your VP's court, and he's supposed to be talking to you guys about that subcontract. So if he hasn't reached out to you this week, it might be something you want to get in contact with him, because I like I said, nothing's going to move forward unless we hear back until your VP talks to our VP that something's in place.
Gotcha. Well, on top of that, you know, Robert, we are not talking about $1 million. We are not talking about 6 figures. So
even they don't care if it's $5. I'm just telling you what our VP is telling us.
$77,000. There is no like indirect cost.
Oh yeah, I don't think the problem is with not receiving indirect funds. The problem is that they wanted money to come to the university so they can say they distributed it.
Okay.
I gotcha. So for that one, I don't mind if UTLGV and Kingsville take all the money from the supplies and you guys are buying and ship back to us. I don't mind it. So we'll talk about that BP. I think a situation in his year, there's a little tension between BPs because they haven't talked. They have never coordinate this kind of a thing. That's why kind of upset you, BP. But let's figure out. Number 6, subject recruitment. So we can share our experience, but you don't have to follow it. I think the easiest way is to contact your the student affairs office. They usually have sometimes some kind of a freshman orientation. We used to have a 5 days freshman orientation, 100 students for each day, 5 different sections. We are not that big, so we had about 600, 700 freshmen. So they had a day of orientation. We talked with the student affair because it's going to be beneficial for the student. This is a good show because we're going to give out the physical fitness test for free. Then we're going to follow up 3 times. So it's going to be a good show and good benefit for the freshman students. So we got about 15 minutes time during the day because they have a lot of functions, but we were able to secure 15 minutes for the presentation. So we went there with a student assistant and then present our study. And we actually have them sign up on site after class. That worked.
For this one, this is one of the most important concerns I have. At this moment, I still do not really know the actual procedure of data collection and also the survey, what kind of survey instrument we're going to use, what kind of testing procedure we're going to use, and whether it's being finalized or not. And all of this needs to be discussed before we do any training, right? So do we currently have already finalized a procedure of data collection? What kind of data are we going to collect?
So it is all in our proposal. So original proposal.
So nothing is going to be changed based on that, right?
No, not a major change. There are some new survey questions, and we went through all the survey questions. There are some redundancies, like physical activity questions here and there. So we just sharpen up a little bit. But overall process, surveys and the physical fitness tests, finger pricks, and nothing has been changed. But we will send you a finalized protocol to you.
Yes. Shannon, could you send us a complete set of the documentation so that we know what is it we are supposed to do?
Plus, we'll need that for IBC, IRB proposal.
Yeah. I was gonna say the recruitment. Sako, I know you said you guys definitely should do it how you want to do it at your campuses for how they have freshman orientation, but that's all gonna have to be documented in the IRB. So we're gonna need to figure out what that looks like, especially if there's any changes because of COVID.
Yes.
Is your guys' plan to go back face to face in the fall? Like, what have you heard from your university?
Or
They're pushing for a goal of between 70 and 80% of classes in person in the fall. So it's about 2 out of 3 classes that we teach. So there will be more students on campus in the fall. Are you were already in campus or in person?
Yeah, it's like class by class, but
Yeah,
same things. They're pushing for, 80% or more back to face.
Okay.
All
And then,
right.
Sujin, are you in person in the fall?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was the same, same situation like you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send everybody what we've got so far, but it's
Ryan,
it's what we've done over and over.
Yeah, I think we already forwarded that a long time ago, but yeah, we're gonna resend
send
that,
it.
approve the ILB form and like a proposals and protocols. Okay. Do you have any questions? I think I went through because I want to finish up by before 4. Now we have a time. Any questions? Dr. Kwan, you are very quiet today. So any questions?
I'm just
from your end?
listening. No, I just kind of going back to the Dr. Chen's questions. I think in the very first meeting, I think you already kind of mentioned how you conduct your own, because pretty much similar things you already conducted the first wave. That's why we have data, right?
Yes.
So that is going to be similar, almost same procedures you're going to do, right? So
Yeah.
which
Yes.
means, so student come in and that student also complete the survey questions, right?
Yes.
Then get into the some
Physical
blood
fitness.
things, right? So that is the done one each individual.
Right.
That is
Yes.
how we work. So that is
Right.
kind of take pretty much how long that's gonna take for each student.
So we have done several times. So let's say it depends on the person, but minimum 40 minutes, maximum hour.
That
for
makes
each
sense.
wave.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we have their own personal contact information.
Right.
That is how we follow up them. That
Yes,
is
ma'am.
basically how you work, right? Okay.
Yes. So
That is just kind of get further.
when they sign up our study, for example, when you went to the freshman orientation, there are like 200 students said, I want a physical fitness monitors. I think we're not gonna give out the physical fitness monitor because they're not gonna show up. So we got their information, email and phone number.
Then scheduling.
Right. We contact them. Then we schedule. We got a spot, and then we schedule like 2 person at a 1
Just
hour.
like a physical exam.
When they come in and finish up, at the last
service.
one is give out the physical fitness with instruction. So that's complete the first wave. So we're gonna repeat the same procedure for the first, second, and third. Yes.
Okay. All right. So another question. So you guys have, when you have the survey, is the paper-based the pencil survey, or do you have the tablet, or
Yeah.
on the online computer, in the online computer things that go in next booth, something like that?
So the survey's hosted. The survey's hosted on Qualtrics, and so we can give them
Qualtrics, right?
Yeah. So whatever your lab is going to have, if you've got tablets, we could also factor that in if we need to figure out buying some of those. But we've been using tablets and also desktop computers.
Or on the spot. Otherwise,
On the spot, yeah.
Otherwise, your response rate. Yeah. Okay. So that is much clear. Is going back to the Dr. Chen's questions, kind of clear picture of how exactly work.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Dr.
Feel
Chen,
free to always ask us these because we've been doing it so often that it's just
right.
what I've told you. Yeah.
Right.
That is the most effective, efficient way. You wanna do anything further modify to just promote some more efficient way to do so, that we UTRGB and we're gonna have a better, time effective way to do so. You already have done before. So are you gonna change anything?
The only thing we talked about changing because of COVID was having them take the survey before they come into the lab to cut down on time. But we were concerned about follow-up actually coming into the lab after the survey, because then we miss all like the biomarker and the physical fitness data. And so we're still hoping that if there's enough students on campus, they do everything in lab.
Maybe you can do, once you schedule and send the link, and student can bring the evidence they're complete the final page, then they save their time, save on our researchers and time. But then if this is student that didn't bring up, you can finish it here, or you didn't really finish it, the rest of the question you can finish it. That way maybe can do, right?
Right.
Yeah, we'd have to
So-
figure out assigning the student ID.
Right.
Yeah, also, can we make the student actually take a survey by with their phone with a link?
All
That
checks
should-
works on the phone.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
it does work
even
on their
they
phone.
came to the when they come to the like our labs.
Yeah, they could
environment,
scan the
and they
QR
could
code.
start, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's possible.
Okay. Can I?
Okay.
So based on our experience and you guys understand the nature of students, they wanted to participate this one because there's the monies and things. And if you ask them to come like put in all the survey questions before they come, they may complete it. But let's say Thursday morning, wake up, they felt not good, and then they decide not to come, and boom, nothing. Because we need to get their physical data and blood and everything. So, well, take a survey usually takes about what 15 to 20 minutes out of a 1 hour window. So I think I told you whole process, including survey, physical fitness test, and blood, everything takes about between a range from 40 minutes to up to maximum 1 hour. So it's up to you whether you can ask them to, complete the survey and bring their evidence, or I think we can check through the online, but still it's not gonna make a big difference because students, it takes, if it takes like 2 and 3 hours, that makes a big difference. But I think it's easy for us to have them come in, then fill out survey and everything on site. And also, students, that freshmen, they signed up. We usually send out the reminder text message and phone call. Okay, not only one time, 2-3 times. A day before they confirm it. Okay, I'll be there 3 o'clock and no show. That happened so many times, trust me. So that's why we started with like a 150, and then we scheduled 150 students, wave one. They willing to come, they signed up, they provide all the information, but actually we are able to get about a 110 out of a 150 students. Okay, so that's still good number. Yeah.
Well, only my concern is actually how many computers or the tablet for the survey can you prepare in my lab. That's my only concern.
So Sujin, remember that we're not gonna have 3, 4, 5 students at a time. We're gonna have only like 2 students on 1 hour window.
1 hour window.
So
I see.
your IT office has plenty of iPad to like loaners. Don't worry about that part. We bought about 4 iPad. That was good enough. All right.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
And another clarification is this, just for your information, this is our goal in our proposal. So we're gonna start with the 350 students. Our goal is to have about a 65%, that's a retention rate. So if you do the math, about 65, 98. So we are talking about 220 for the second wave. And third wave, we're gonna lose. But if you see the numbers, based on experience, if someone came to second visit, there are loyal students. Then there are higher number of students actually come to third wave. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So we lost a lot for the second wave because first, but second we're gonna actually higher retention rate. So we are targeting about a 160. However, based on Dr. Kwan's statistical analysis, we need about 100 to have a significant power of a 0.05. So minimum 270 and 30%, that's a third wave. So this is the minimum number we need.
Yeah, that is a very conservative estimate.
Right. So if you look at the big gap between these two, so if you have like 100 or 120, that I think is a good number to run the statistics based on our sample analysis.
What is that based off of that Pope study? What was the outcome?
That's based on our previous studies. So Dr. Kwan ran the power analysis using previous other similar data sets.
But on what measure? On blood glucose, or what was it based on?
Dr. Remember that? I provided, I think,
the one meta-analysis literature review, then they give the meta-analysis literature they have, or the BMI on some standard deviation and the mean and the sample size. So based on those informations,
BMI.
use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. That is the BMI stuff. Yes. Wait.
Okay, Dr. Chen, we still have 10 minutes. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir.
I think this part is very good. I think the goal, the number of the sample size is pretty realistic. I have two questions. I have a question about the goals here. When I read the goal number 4 and number 5, I have a feeling
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one, number 4 and
these are
5.
not really research goals, but rather they are what we expect for the student performance in the future. So, for example, the average 4% of increase in student persistency, and whatever that means, and year after year, the participating campuses by 2026. That's what I don't know why we put that as the goal of our research project. That's not really the goal of the research project, but rather your expectation about what can happen to students in the future.
Okay, let me ask you questions. So can I? Because you can just step by step. Number 5, the average 4% increase in Mexican American student persistence, not dropping out. So you can think about what is our, like a goal of our research, Dr. Chan. What's our goal for this research? We would love to increase the retention rate. That's our ultimate goal. Why are you doing all these measurements? Wave 1, 2, 3 for freshmen? Because if you look at our proposal, there is an introduction because of there's a freshman drop rate at 25% average, and this is a unique students. So we wanted to find out what happened during the whole entire freshman year. So we're gonna use this data toward our other study, and eventually we wanted to find out what are the factors affecting their freshman life, like physical activity or stress from. So we can find all the factors affecting their freshman life. Then you can use those as a tool to come up with a work, like a innovation. So it's not a part of our study. So we can come up with some of the workshop and innovation. Eventually, this is the 2026. So Meadow Foundation support us 1 year. So for our final report,
I guess my point is that when we describe research goals or the aim of the study, we are describing what we plan to accomplish, what we plan to do. And in terms of the average increase of the participation of the, let's say, retention rate and things like that, I think that's what we would expect from this one particular research strategy. The other way I'm describing this is that I do not really know. I get a little bit confused about whether this is a research project, clinical trial project. Is this a clinical trial or is this a research project?
I don't think this is clinical trial. I don't think it's a clinical trial. We don't really do any
clinical trial. I think the goal number 5 is not really the goal, but rather that's what you are supposed to say. This is our particular research strategy, and we want to find out whether indeed there is a 4% increase of participation.
For desirable outcomes, that is that is a right way to.
The same argument can be made about goal number 4. Adopt formal intervention strategies for Mexican American students, and by 2024, that I would think is I would say you would try to discover a particular strategy that may increase let's say, the retention rate of students by a certain percentage.
Right.
That could be your goal, but the actual increase of retention rate is not really your goal per se, because you're not doing a clinical trial. You're not really at the administrator, but you're trying to discover a particular strategy for student success.
Not even a strategy, just a potential area to implement a strategy.
To implement a strategy.
Right. But if you look, this is a 2026, this is a 2021. So this is like a long-term, like a goal. So I understand, Dr. Chen, your concern is not a research-specific goal, but for example, how do we measure like a freshman retention rate? Okay, 4% increase. Are we going to measure every year for 3 institutions? We did not specify in our proposal in detail for the long-term goal. Okay. So yeah, this is our 3-year project. So we just put 2026 numbers because we don't expect to come up. We don't expect to have a good strategy and innovations after 2-3
Yeah.
years. It takes
But I
time.
kind of see Dr. Chen's idea. So core 1, 2, 3 will be exactly goals. So we're gonna pursue throughout the project. But the goal 4 and 5, by accomplishing goal 1, 2, 3, we're gonna intend to right produce goal 4 and 5. So that is kind of more like a desired outcomes, but we kind of just put together.
Right. I understand that. Yeah.
It
But
feeds
I understand the
into,
words.
yeah, it feeds into more of Meadows' goals because they don't just usually fund research, but because
I know, yeah, that's why I see that you put wording in contract. That is what you intentionally do. That. It's kind of more straightforward. Oh, yeah.
But I do think what we've been talking about is finding out why there might be differences for Mexican Americans' academic success, and then that feeds into, it goes in order too, right? It feeds into goal 4. We would identify.
You would say we are able to make a recommendation about strategies for the significant retention rate for Mexican American students. That is our goal, but not really the actual increase of our.
Right. Dr. Chen, I totally agree with you. So I think this is a, remember that this is a proposal just for the medal. Okay. So this is not a proposal for the federal. So we need to keep working. So Dr. Chen, you're right. We need to have a goal, the specific aims, and actually we need to come up with a actually similar, but totally not totally different, similar but different like a proposal to other private and federal grant. And we need your help. That's the reason why we have.
Yeah, the other issue that people may point out is that
right.
we have a goal, but this goal is not measurable by 2022 because you're talking
that
about
is more
6.
That is more agreeable for the kind of metal foundations flavor. It's not exactly.
Okay, let's wrap it up. So, do you think an on-site visit will be necessary or not? Like late July or early August, you want to get together one more time and finalize? Or we're gonna do most of our thing through
I'm open.
email.
Either way is fine.
Open?
Either we can meet face to face or we can meet through Zoom. Either way is fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying.
Okay, we'll be there. You just need to bring like a bagels and food like last time. Okay.
I'm still the
chair. No more chair at that point.
Come on, you guys can make. Okay, we'll bring food there for this. All right.
Welcome.
So
I think
that's. Go ahead.
That late July, early August time point, that's exactly when I'm going to be on my honeymoon.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So maybe if we do it like early July, that might be a little bit better, but I don't know if that fits in with
No problem. We are not going to interrupt your honeymoon.
No.
Robert, how many honeymoons are you planning to go? 2, 3? Because this is the whole 2 weeks.
Oh, how long?
Yeah.
We're going for 1 week in full, but it's like the last week of July into early August.
Early on to
like
July.
half and half.
So you're gonna get married?
I'm getting married in 15 days.
Right.
Wow.
Exciting.
Congratulations. So Robert, I think if we wanted to visit Kingsville like in the middle of July, do you think you can make it? Good.
Okay.
Well, actually, I can make it.
All right.
No, Sujin can't make it.
I cannot make it.
You cannot make it.
Okay, let's ex-nay July. I think that might be a little early, anyways.
Because the semester start like at the end of the
Our
August,
semester
right?
starts like beginning of August.
No, not beginning. In the middle of August.
In the middle of August.
Middle of the
August 17th.
But he's gone for the honeymoon, so I think we need to meet before he left, right? Before he leaves.
Could we do 2 meetings, one with Kingsville and one with UTRGV to fit individual needs? Is that too much?
So we can do that.
Yeah, that might be.
Maybe.
All right. We can come back to this because if we need to do Zoom, I mean, we've already met and we can share everything. And I think we can have meetings maybe in the middle too, as stuff starts to go a little faster.
Well, like I was gonna say, we probably need to meet again regarding the IRB submission. We probably need to shoot for at latest July submission. If I would prefer probably June a submission.
June, I think. Yeah, June.
Yeah, I agree.
At least 2 months. Okay, that's all I have today. 4 o'clock on time.
Great
Okay.
organizer. You know, I think you did a really good job. You know.
Good job.
You know, I was rushy, sorry about it. So,
No,
well,
no worries.
the good news is we made it. So we don't, we didn't expect to have a, money from the medal because we just submitted because to show our effort, but we got it for the first time. So that's a good news.
But you guys really heavy lift work all the
And then,
process.
Vicky and Shannon and I actually, believe it or not, we used to have a weekly meeting and then bi-weekly meeting. So we keep working. So we do have we call mother proposal application. So we have a mother document, long document.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, Shannon, could you send us the final version of the whole package so that I know?
Yes.
We'll do it. I
know what
yeah.
the survey instrument is like, and also what kind of procedure we're going to conduct. By the way, when you collect those biomarker samples, how are you going to convert them into data?
They put it in Qualtrics. So once they get the blood strip, all the info for the LDL and the glucose, it's just the numbers, and they put it directly into the
iPad
folder.
Okay.
It's real time. It takes about 5 minutes for the machine to process it and kick out values.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will send you that. I might send you the draft, and then I'll send you all the final one because it'll have to be finalized for IRB anyways. So I just am going to apologize for sending you a lot of emails. I think it might start speeding up, so sorry. But I will let you all know once everything is signed from the university, because we're kind of in limbo right now. We've gotten the money, but these things signed. And Succo, if you will stay on at the end of this meeting, we will be in contact with our representatives so that they can contact both the VPs at both schools so that we can kind of smooth this out. Because be able to do the research and not have to remember this admin stuff.
Sounds good. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Sujin. It's all in the morning, South Korea.
Have a good time in Korea.
Have a good time. Congratulations, by the way, Rob.
Thank you.
Robert, congratulations. Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
So Shannon, do you want me to stay?
Yeah. I just wanted to talk to you instead of sending you emails.
Okay.
Since you're here.
All right.
Did you see the latest email from Patricia? I forwarded it to you.
Yes, I see it.
So, okay, so it looks like that. So the contract needs to be signed by Cynthia and Kathy Funk Baxter. But it's currently being routed to VJ and Mike. But did you see that they're not gonna sign anything? This $40,000 is becoming a really big burden for us getting anything done. Do you think? Great. Do you think should we email Patricia and just kind of ask her what we should be doing to get this moving along? Because we didn't really tell them. And Robert brought up a good point, right? We don't want to not have zero. It shouldn't be $77,000 and $0, right? We should have other money coming in. I don't know. I think this is going to take way too long because Meadows said we could get the money by May 15th if we get everything signed quickly. And I think hold it up.
So what do you think? Because of we need to come up with a $40,000 that says in Meadows contract because that's what we submitted.
Yeah.
But no one committed to put $40,000. That's why we had a meeting with the VJ and John.
Right.
So let's say VJ come with the 5,000, maybe a couple of thousand from the John, but we still short is over like $3,000, $30,000.
Right.
Right. And Roberts and then Sujin, I heard what they said.